Hi, my name is Danny. I'm here to talk about leadership and administration. I'm currently a student at UTEP, taking EDAD 5348, School Administration of School Personnel with Dr. Katuk. And so I'm going to reference our text, Bowman and Deal, Reframing Organizations. This is a good book. It's not just about administration, it's about leadership in general. And so the topics I want to talk about are power, conflict, how to fix the conflict, and then how being a leader is very political. After that, I'm going to talk about how demanding being an administrator actually is from balanced leadership reading provided to us. And so, first of all, power, conflict, and resolution, they're all in chapter 9 of Bowman and Deal. And so power first, it's defined as someone who has the power to reward or punish. And so here I don't just think about students because of course an administrator can reward or punish students, but staff as well. In my opinion, the best administrators I've had are the ones who rarely use that power wisely. And so they don't just go rewarding and punishing everyone, they use it wisely. More importantly for me was the conflict part of it and how to fix the conflict. And so conflict is going to rise, Bowman and Deal say, just because people have different personalities, people have different backgrounds, and people think through different perspectives. And so when you have a couple people who think through different perspectives, there's bound to be a conflict. And so I could think of just teachers in the same department who may not have the same ideas in lesson planning, maybe even teachers and someone in the staff like a janitor, anything like that. And so that's how conflicts arise. It's important as a leader to take a step back and make sure that to build the right culture, there has to be communication. So if there's a conflict, make sure that the personnel has spoken with each other first about that conflict. And they need to communicate with each other because maybe it's a problem that they can fix on their own with each other. If it can't be resolved, then it is important to collaborate and kind of all come together and work it out. That's how I would handle a situation in my school as the leader. Chapter 10 talks about how being a leader and an administrator is very political. And so by that I mean you're a public figure. You're the face of the school pretty much when you're the principal. And so you need to watch what you do, what you say all the time, 24/7, because it can get out very easily. And that's also advice that a principal in the El Paso school district, one of the El Paso school districts gave me, is that you're always going to be watched by the community. So be careful what you do, what you say, and very importantly on social media, be careful what you post and what you have posted in the past, because it will come back. Just as if you were a politician running for president, everything gets looked up, all your background and what you've done before. And so another thing about a politician as a leader is that always keep the interest of your stakeholders. And so who are your stakeholders as a school principal? And I would say that would be your students. Always keep their interest and the community's interest in mind, not your own. Not just because you're trying to climb any ladders, but do it because you're trying to help them out. When you get a job as a school principal, you're part of that community now, and you need to be looking out for their best interest. And so that pretty much summarizes chapter 9 and 10 for Bowman and Deal, Reframing Organizations. The next reading, Balanced Leadership, I found very, very interesting. So it has different stories of principals and how they balance their time because the job is very, very demanding. And so there's a lot of different stories, bad stories, good stories. And so I'll just reference some of the bad ones and then some of the good ones. So a lot of principals spend hours and hours and hours at school. And so they lose time with their family and they lose time with their spouses. So a lot of time there's conflict that arises with their spouse because of all the hours spent. And it's just like we said, you're 24/7 political figure as a principal. At home, you also take that with you. And so you get home from work and you want to talk about all the problems that you're going through at school or what's going well. And sometimes your spouse may want to talk about other things other than work. And so it's very important that you still have those boundaries between your family life and work life. And make sure you have time for your family. Family is very important. And so I know it may be scary to get an administrator job and think that you're going to lose your family life, or you may go through a divorce or something, but you have to be able to balance it out and make those boundaries. Make time for your family. It's pretty important that I read that your first year maybe as a principal, you're going to spend all your time there trying to fix everything. But the more experience you get, you can say, you know what, I'm going to put that off till tomorrow. It can wait. It can wait for what? For your family. And that's very important. But it's not all bad. There's also good stories where I can think of a principal who had a spouse who gave up her job to take care of the kids and be a stay-at-home mother. And that worked out really well for him. And so he even wanted to send flowers because he appreciated his spouse for what she did. Because just because she may be stay-at-home, he really appreciates that the spouse gives him freedom, for his job, and I guess lets him follow his dreams. So that's very important as well. But of course, you would have to have a spouse that would agree to that and would be willing to sacrifice maybe their dreams for you to be a principal. And I just think that's very important. Balancing that life between family and work. And so that's pretty much all I had to say. I hope you actually take chance to read Bowman and Deal. It's a very good book. And thank you for watching.